Hello and welcome back to finding volume of cones and pyramids. This is 18.3. We left off on explain 2. We're finding the volume of a composite figure still. So here it says make a cone shape hole in the top of a cylinder, which forms a composite figure. So essentially imagine this cone is being cut out, right? And it creates this composite figure. It says find the volume. First of all, what we're going to do is find the volume of the cylinder. So you notice that they give us here a diameter of 3.6. Okay, what we're going to do is we're going to cut that in half. And what half of 3.6, if you're not sure what that would be, essentially take 3.6 and divide it by 2. Take a moment and do that now. And unpause, you should have gotten 1.8. All right, now remember volume of a cylinder is going to be area of our base times our height. In this case, since our base is a circle, we're going to use radius squared times pi times our height. So I color-coded some things. Height is essentially from the top of the 3D shape to the bottom, and the radius is what we just found. So go ahead and plug those numbers in. And unpause. Hopefully you filled in these numbers. Take a moment right now, and let's go ahead and calculate what 1.8 squared would be. And hopefully you did that. That would be about 3.24. Notice how I'm bringing down the pi symbol, 4.3, just in case you're still not sure what that symbol is. It's called pi, and an approximation for that would be 3.14. Okay. The next thing we're going to do is we're going to multiply the number parts of our answer, essentially 3.24 and 4.3. Go ahead and take a moment right now and multiply that out. And if you multiply that out, are still doing so, notice how I still brought down my pi symbol, my volume. That would be about 13.932. If you rounded it, that's fine too, because it's going to ask us to round eventually. And then last but not least, a lot of students are, okay, well, how do I make an actual number answer for this? You can leave it in terms of pi, though some students do prefer the number answer. We're going to multiply that 13.932 by 3.14, which is that approximation we were talking about earlier. And feel free to take down any notes, pause if I'm going too fast, and rewind if you're not sure what step was which. But take a moment to calculate this out and unpause. That would be, yes, let's multiply by pi, okay. And that would be about 43.77. If you rounded it, that's fine, 43.8, because they're going to ask us to round it anyways. So that was number 6. Number 7 says to find the volume of the figure, right? So you'll notice that there is a cone, so let's find the volume of our cone. Since essentially we're taking that out, we want to find the volume of the cone, so that way we can take that out of the volume of our cylinder. So again, our area of our base is pi and then radius squared. Notice how we're kind of using the same exact numbers. The only difference is because we're finding the cone part, we're going to use that 1/3, which is essentially like dividing by 3. So some students are like, well, do I really have to compute all this out since I kind of already know what that answer is? You don't have to. I mean, I'm kind of just doing the same thing over again. I know you're like, I already know what that answer is going to be. What you could do is take, actually, since we know what the answer is going to be, rather than filling out this whole thing, right? If I already know that the cone part, let me see, I've kind of forgot it here, 43.77. Since we know when we do all this, it's going to be about 43.77, what we could do is essentially just divide this by 3. And what would that be? Take a moment and do that now. So that would be about 14.59. So that's the volume of the cone. The volume of the cylinder that we found for number 6 was about 43.77. So what we could do to figure out the volume of the composite figure, essentially since we took out the cone, or took it out, or got cut out of the cylinder, what do you think about when you think take out, took out? Do you think about adding, or subtracting the two volumes we found? Which do you think about? Subtracting, right? So what we're going to do is we're going to take away 43.77, which was the volume of our cylinder. And so we're going to take these two away to find kind of our composite figure. All right, so take a moment right now and do that. It's important that you do the calculations, even though you know I'm going to show up the answers. Please make sure you're trying this out when I give you the time to do so. And unpause, that would be about 29.18 or so. And yes, we can round to the nearest tenths place, which would be that one. So would this be better approximation would be 29.1 or 29.2. 29.2 because the neighbor is a little bit higher than 5. So, all right, let's go on to the next one, which is our checkpoint. So here they want us to find kind of the volume of this composite figure. So there's our cylinder. So again, I'm going to use, since our base is a circle, I'm going to write radius squared times pi. Notice how I color-coded some stuff. They already give us our radius, which is nice. Let's plug some stuff in. So hopefully you plugged in this, and let's calculate some stuff. What's 6 squared? That'd be 36. We'll bring down everything else. The pi symbol, the 10. Let's go ahead and multiply that out, and that would be, yes, we're multiplying the number parts, about 360. And then we can actually compute that by multiplying 360 times 3.14, which would be about what? Be about, 1,130.97. All right, so let's go ahead and find now the volume of our cone. Okay, so remember the radius is still 6. They do not give us the height of our cone, unfortunately. So we're going to use Pythagorean theorem to find our height, because they tell us what the radius, they even tell us what the slant height is. But they don't tell us the height, which is what we need. So we're going to use our handy dandy Pythagorean theorem, leg squared plus leg squared equals hypotenuse squared. I'm going to label some stuff for you and erase some stuff because you can't see that label. So let's let students see that label. Go ahead and plug the numbers where you think they should go. And hopefully you put 6 and h on this side. Whether you put h here or 6 there, it doesn't matter. But the hypotenuse, as long as it's 8. So take a moment right now and figure out what 6 squared is and 8 squared. And hopefully you found that to be 36. Just so you know, any letter squared is just that letter h squared. And 64. All right, what's the opposite of adding 36? Let's subtract 36 to both sides. That'll go away. And I'm left with h squared equals, what would that be? About 28. Let's go ahead and square root. We're doing this to find height so we can find the volume of our cone. H would be, hopefully you're square rooting this, about 5.29. All right, so now that we know what our height is, yay, let's actually calculate the volume of our base, volume of our cone. So now that we know what the height is, we can plug stuff in. Let's go ahead and do that. All right, so I'm going to have to write some of this stuff in because that's not correct. Give me 1 second. All right, so hopefully you put the numbers in their place now that they're correct. Let's go ahead and work out what's 6 squared. Notice I brought down the 1/3, the pi, and the 5.29. What would 6 squared be? 36. All right, so let's go ahead and multiply out the number parts. 36 times 5.29. What would that be? So I did bring down the 1/3 and the pi. What would 36 times 5.29 be? about 190.44. If you round it, that's fine. Last thing we're going to do is let's go ahead and divide that 190.44 divided by 3. Because remember, 1/3 multiplying by 1/3 is like dividing by 3. Take a moment, do that now. And unpause. Hopefully you got about 63.4, 63.5. All right. Let's go ahead and change that so that it is an actual number. 6.4, I'm sorry, let's go ahead and fix that as well. So let's go ahead and multiply 63.48 times 3.14, because that's the approximation for pi. And hopefully you did that, and you got 199.32. Because these two figures are one on top of the other, we are going to add those volumes together. Let's add the cone and the cylinder. Take a moment right now and compute that out. And unpause, hopefully you got about 1030.29. All right, so essentially every foot is about that much in gallons, so make sure you're taking your volume that you just found, great job, and multiplying that by that kind of ratio they gave us for gallons, and work that out. I'm going to let you do that, not give you the answer for that one, so work that out. All right, for homework, make sure you're doing that homework. If you do need support in getting that done, please come into the center. Here's a little bit of support if you'd like. I would give you a hint, find the radius so that you can find your height, and then kind of use Pythagorean theorem to work that out. So you find your height, which I'm not going to show you here, make sure you're using your volume formula to find number 3. For number 4, you have to find radius. So again, using Pythagorean theorem to find your radius, go ahead and do that. And then once you find your radius, make sure to kind of actually find the area of your base. And your height is already kind of labeled for you here. So hopefully, yes, I guess I just showed that to you just now. Yes, your radius is 9.16. So make sure you're showing your work to work that out. On here for number 5, they just ask you to find the radius. So once you find the radius, you don't have to use Pythagorean theorem in this case, just kind of figure out what half of 24 is. And you'll be able to kind of work out all those other parts. And then for number 9, if you need some support, you do have to find the volume of your cone, the volume of your cylinder, and then you will have to add those two together. So take the time to do that. If you do need more support, please come to the center. We're more than happy to help you with your homework. All right, see you on the next video.